Georgia, Alabama. Sports Live will be your go-to for all your favorite high school and collegiate games this fall. From the Carver Tigers to the Columbus Blue Devils, the Harris County Tigers and Northside Patriots, the Glenwood Gators and Calvary Christian Knights, the Pacelli Vikings and Brookstone Cougars to the Smith Station Panthers and Russell County Warriors, from CVCC, Pirates basketball and baseball, and every tournament from here to Macon. We are the #1 destination for anything happening in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and stay tuned for even more amazing ways we will be bringing Georgia, Alabama Sports Live to you this upcoming season. We can't wait to come see you next. What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Calvary Coaches Show live from the bullpen. And I am with the athletic director and head baseball coach of Calvary Christian, Steve Smith. Coach, thank you so much. We're finally at season's end. It seems like it was a long season, and I think you can agree with me on that, and the ups and downs of this year, but you finished strong. You won every game in your region, and we're going to talk about all that here in just a moment. But first, as we always like to do, put your AD hat on. I know there's some things you want to kind of update not only the Calvary community, but the entire Columbus community as well.
Yeah, we had our annual golf tournament last Monday that our booster club puts on. Yeah. They did a phenomenal job. It was a great day over at Bull Creek. Raised probably close to $35,000, which again is going to go towards putting bleachers, more additional bleachers on our football field. So that was a great day. We ran 2 different flights, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. We were pretty much full for both of those. Awesome. We did some silent auctions and raffled off some pretty cool things. So it was a good day for Calvary Athletics. From the spring sports side, we've just kind of finished a couple of our sports. So track and field in some of our events really had a good showing. Anna Norton ended up finishing in 4th place in the 800 with a PR, which was great for her. Really proud of the work that she has put in, and obviously as she goes on to run at the next level. Our golf team, first year again out of GIA, and really only having 3 golfers that had played last year. The rest of the team are all new golfers, and they ended up finishing, I think, in 8th. But also several guys with their best rounds of the entire year. They did it in the state tournament. So really proud of what Coach Folds has done there. And really we've got some momentum kind of building with golf, with our middle school program. And we've got a meeting this week about trying to continue to inject some life into that and just build for the future there. Tennis. So second year of the program. Kim and Matt Jeffers did another phenomenal job. We had several high placings, and then Finley Jeffers, state champion in gaps last year, and then follows it up with a singles state championship in GIA. And again, as she prepares to play at the next level as well. So really cool with those. Soccer, girls soccer team just on the outside. They finished in the 13th spot. Yep. Really struggled this year in the region. But there's a lot of talent in the younger age there, or the younger ages inside that program. So we're hopeful for the future with girls soccer. Boys soccer, they're in the 6th spot. They'll be hosting on Saturday Mount DeSales. And again, we feel really good about where our soccer team's at. They're healthy. And that's kind of been one of the things the last couple of years going into the postseason, having everybody to be healthy. So we didn't play real good against Strong Rock last week, but I really hope that was a wake-up call for them, that we really got to get laser-focused going into the playoffs, and hopefully we can make a really strong run. Coming into this year, we felt like that was going to be a team that was going to compete for a state championship. Yep. We played Pacelli and split, right? And Pacelli, one of the top teams inside of GIA that you're going to have to go through at some point. Yeah. So, that's our spring sports. Next Wednesday, big day for us. We did a signing day earlier on in the year where 6 of our athletes had signed. We've got another 7 that are going to be signing. We've got a golfer, Tristan Whitley's going to Delta State. We've got Finley Jeffers going to CSU for tennis.
You know how good CSU's tennis
Yes.
program is. One of the top in the country. I don't care what division they're in.
And she had several interests from a lot of Division I schools. She really felt like CSU was the right fit for her. We've got 3 baseball players: Cam Houston going to Albany State, Bryson Brooks going to East Georgia State College, and Tommy Irving going to Southern Union. We have Brooklyn Van, who is reclassing and will be going to Sanford in the fall.
Oh, wow.
So girls soccer player, she'll be going. And then I need to make sure I'm not missing someone. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm missing one other one. Why am I getting a blank here? Tennis, soccer, boys soccer going to Toccoa Falls. So we're really excited about our kids that are going on to play at the next level. So that's next Wednesday at 2:30. So we're looking forward to that.
We're going to be there, obviously, at 2:30. And by the way, we will have the boys soccer game this Saturday, 6 p.m., right here at Calvary. We're also going to have it on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And then we're going to get into baseball here in just a second. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll got more with Coach Steve Smith on the Calvary Coaches Show.
Georgia, Alabama. Sports Live will be your go-to for all your favorite high school and collegiate games this fall. From the Carver Tigers to the Columbus Blue Devils, the Harris County Tigers and Northside Patriots, the Glenwood Gators and Calvary Christian Knights, the Pacelli Vikings and Brookstone Cougars, to the Smith Station Panthers and Russell County Warriors, from CVCC Pirates basketball and baseball, and every tournament from here to Macon. We are the #1 destination for anything happening in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and stay tuned for even more amazing ways we will be bringing Georgia Alabama Sports Live to you this upcoming season. We can't wait to come see you next.
Welcome back to from the break. It's the Calvary Coaches Show. And, Coach, you finally got the name of the young man that's signing from soccer.
Zach Madrigal. I don't know why I couldn't remember his name, but Zach Madrigal going to Toccoa Falls. Been one of our leaders all season long. Really, really excited for him as well.
All right. One thing I did want to talk about, last thing with the AD, is it seemed like every single middle school program, from the baseball team that won the GAP state championship, the basketball team, did they win the GAPS boys basketball? I know they made it pretty far. And then obviously the football team that won every game by 70 points. The softball team's got a bunch of middle schoolers that were contributors this year that made a deep one. Coach Halstead, he's done a fantastic job. Talk about that middle school group that seems like is a keen group, and not just you, but all the coaches are excited about the future.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, our middle school programs for really the last couple years for sure, but really when you kind of go back and start looking at 3-4 years ago, have been really, really strong. But in the last 2 years have just been really good. Volleyball, they've won the last 2 state championships. Baseball this year, undefeated, beat every local team that they played. Really, really strong. And there's a ton of talent in 7th grade, not just 7th and 8th grade. Right. You mentioned our football team that, undefeated, no close games. It just really just a phenomenal job that Coach Grant, Coach Carlton Williams did this past year. Softball for the last 3 years. I want to say girls softball in the last 3 years maybe lost 2 or 3 games. You know what I mean? So and again, all local teams, and really at different points playing JV teams. When we were in the spring, they were playing trying to find some good competition. Boys basketball won a state championship this year. And then, you look at girls basketball, same thing, really strong for several years. Won a championship. I mean, so it's throughout all of our athletic programs. We do a really good job with our middle school. And so now it's how do you take that and how do you build on that for the next 4 years and really try to take that success that you have at the middle school level and really replicate it and continue it on. And really that comes into the continued development, keeping those kids hungry. A lot of times when you have good middle school athletes, it can be a challenge. When you have success, am I still hungry and am I still fighting when I move up to the next level, do I just assume that same level is going to is going to continue to be maintained? And that's not how it works.
Right.
You've got to keep that same level of hunger, the work. We've got to have game plans on how to continue to keep developing those kids.
By the way, I saw Coach Brunson. He drove by. He is super excited about the football program. They got spring practice coming up here soon and cannot wait for 2025 Calvary football edition coming up this year in year 2 of the GIAA. All right, Coach, let's put the baseball hat on, and let's talk about how you ended the season. You were able to 10-run rule Heritage on senior night. I know ending the season on a win. You won every series in your region. Now, you didn't win the region. Brookstone did, but you won every series, including against Brookstone. We were talking about it, not a favorable matchup in terms of the bracket. And, again, people don't underestimate how good the GIAA baseball is. I put that Class 4A classification up against anyone in the GHSA, aside from maybe 4A, 5A, 6A. They're loaded with talent. So talk about how you finished the season and what's the message to the team as you start this hard playoff run.
When we got back from spring break, I just told them, I said, at this point, you have to win. We talked about this, last week when we talked. It doesn't really matter, what you did early on in the season. It's how you finish that back third. And really, we're playing the best that we've played all season long in the back third. We figured some things out with our pitching. The defense has come along, which had been the issue for us in the first half of the season. And then offensively, we've kind of moved some things around. We've challenged some guys to make some adjustments. And we feel like we've got guys that are going to go in there and compete with a good process. And that's going to put us in a position to be in every game. We feel like, and again, when we went into region play, the goal was win each series. Right. And we did that. Normally, when you win each series, you win the region.
Right.
When you're in a region that's as tough as ours, and you have the quality that we have in there, and you have a Brookstone in there that they swept every other series.
Yeah. Except for y'all.
It's just that's how you're not the region. You're not the region winner. So I mean, they did what they needed to do, and we dropped some games that we felt like we should have won in some of those other series. But we feel like we're a tough team to beat in a 3-game series. Anything can happen in one game. We saw that throughout the season in some of our other matchups, but we really do feel like in a 3-game series, we're a tough team to beat. But the path that we have, not looking past Strong Rock, you're talking about a team that really gave us everything that we could handle in a 3-game series, 1 game here and 2 games at their place. Right. That is a tough 11 seed to be playing in the first round. They've got pitching, they can hit, they play
coaching.
Good defense. Their coach is is a guy that coached at the college level for a couple decades. Yeah. They're a good team. And to be honest with you, as an 11 seed, they're a team that can make a run in the postseason beyond round 1. So we're not looking past that. When you look at the bracket, you can see what the potential path is. But if we look any further past Strong Rock, we'll be preparing for 2026, and I don't want to prepare for 2026 yet.
By the way, I mentioned this on the Glenwood Coach Show. I'm going to mention it now just because we're talking about baseball. Columbus State University got a win last night. They scored 12 runs in the 9th inning, did not have but 1 extra base hit, no errors. It was all off singles, in which I was telling the assistant coach, Carson Bowers, I've never seen something like that before. But they had an up and down year, kind of like you did in middle of the pack, but then they ended the year strong. And now you're seeing a team that's a series away from winning the Peach Belt Championship. How much is it about playing baseball at the right time, not being that dominant team like everybody likes to be throughout the year? But if you're playing hot baseball, you can win a championship.
There's no doubt about it. I've said this before. Winning a championship is not just on talent. Winning a championship is you better be playing the best that you've played all season at the end of the year.
Yep.
And you have to have some breaks go your way as well. There is no doubt about it. There's got to be some things that go your way. You're not just going to muscle your way through, just show up and we're going to win a championship, even if you are the most talented. We have 6 championships, but this is my 12th season. Yeah. And there have been other years where we have been better than the team that has sent us home. So it really is. You better be playing your best baseball at the end of the year. with regards to that game,
Were you
game
watching it because of Bailey?
Absolutely, because we've got two guys. We got Connor Folds and Bailey Thornetter over there, and obviously I've got a couple guys that played for the Hoots that that still play over there, and then Logan Seehafer, who's our pitching coach, just graduated from CSU and played the last 3 years over there. So during practice yesterday, Logan is giving us updates. Down 9-3,
yes,
and to score 12, and like you said, and really that's the mentality that championship teams have. And this has been our focus with our guys. Be unselfish.
Right.
Pass the bat. Take the walk. Trust the guy behind you is going to come through. Take the single. We don't need to hit a 7-run home run. They don't exist in baseball. Pass the bat. And when you do that, that's dangerous for teams. And it is contagious.
Yep. And
when that mindset is there, that's how you score 12 runs against a strong North Georgia team. That's not a weak team. That is a strong, highly ranked top 25, team. And you look at the season that CSU has had, where by all accounts is not what they were hoping for in the regular season. But when you put it together at the end of the season, they still got to go through Landers, which is
I've heard one of the best teams they've seen all year.
They are good. They went up there and played them early on in the season, and so they've got their hands full. But you have to like the coaching staff of CSU that's been there before, has done it, has won championships. They understand what it takes, and it seems like they've got the guys geared up at the right time. So that was pretty exciting to be able to see that.
No doubt, and that's why I wanted to bring it up, because I know the ties for CSU with a lot of the local baseball talent. Obviously, your program, Glenwood, Central, Brookstone, y'all the top programs. They're going to obviously want to recruit in this hotbed of baseball talent, and to have multiple guys that are there playing right now, I know it makes you super proud. And we're hoping they beat Lander this Thursday and Friday. Coach Appleton said the worst series they had all year was that against Lander when we interviewed him earlier today. All right, Coach, it's this coming up Friday, 5 and 7:30. How much does it cost for people to get in? And the If Necessary is on Saturday at 12 p.m. So we could have a day full of playoff sports with soccer and baseball, but hopefully we can take care of business on Friday. But go ahead and tell everyone how much tickets cost when they get here.
So GIA sets all of prices for the postseason.
Okay.
So these will be different than regular season prices. So $10 for students and seniors and $15 for adults. To get in on Friday. We're planning on playing at 5 and 7:30. We've got some rain in the forecast. We're going to do everything we possibly can to try to get those games in on Friday. The If game is currently scheduled for 12 p.m. on Saturday, and soccer we're scheduled for 6 p.m. here. And we've got a backup plan. If for some reason, the field is too wet here, we've got a backup option for soccer. So, but it's going to be a series. I don't anticipate it either way to not be a great series. That team is going to come in. They're going to be ready, and we believe we're going to be ready. So I think it's going to be a great first-round matchup. Just like when you look through all the matchups in 4A, those are some good matchups. You got a tough Pacelli team going on the road to Bullock Academy, and they're going to give Bullock everything that they can handle. That's a scrappy, tough team that whoever gets them as a 10, which is Bullock, they've got their hands full. So at any point inside of GIA, from that 5 through 12, you better play. You better be ready to go. And those top 4 teams, they better be ready after having a bye, because whoever they're going to face in the next round is going to be a team that's going to push them as well. So I think we're geared up for a really, really good competitive GIAA, state run. I think it's going to be exciting.
I can't wait for it. By the way, Pacelli just beat Lakeside. He beat his dad on Monday, 2 days before a state championship game. So I know that has to make him proud. But, Coach, we cannot wait for this run. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I think Greg Mathis also took a page out of your playbook. He's got a game this week, too, because nobody wants to be off for an entire week. Friday, it's going down. And I'm going to emphasize this. I've got a lot of baseball games this year, Coach. There's not been one Calvary game that has not gone down to the wire and has some interesting things that's happened in it. So I'm telling you, you are in for a treat when you're going to watch Calvary baseball taking on Strong Rock, 5 and 7:30 right here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And, of course, here at Calvary from C. Smith, I'm Third Fantasy. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time, and we'll see you Friday right here from Calvary.
Georgia, Alabama. Sports Live will be your go-to for all your favorite high school and collegiate games this fall. From the Carver Tigers to the Columbus Blue Devils, the Harris County Tigers and Northside Patriots, the Glenwood Gators and Calvary Christian Knights, the Pacelli Vikings and Brookstone Cougars, to the Smith Station Panthers and Russell County Warriors, from CVCC, Pirates basketball and baseball, and every tournament from here to Macon. We are the #1 destination for anything happening in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and stay tuned for even more amazing ways we will be bringing Georgia-Alabama Sports Live to you this upcoming season. We can't wait to come see you next. Welcome in, everyone, to another edition of the Glenwood Coaches Show. Let me do that again. One more time. 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everyone, in again to the Glenwood Coaches Show, and I'm here with Coach Tim Fanning, presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC, Gordy Eye Care, Buffalo Rock Pepsi, and, of course, Kinetic Credit Union. Coach, last time we talked, you were taking on St. James in Montgomery, and you won the first game 5-2. We're down 2-1. I'm going to get your reaction on both those, but I just want to let everybody know the score that didn't keep up with it. And then the second game, absolute obliteration, 15-0. And now you're heading to the semifinals. What was your reaction, though, in that game one? Your team down 2-1, and then having that big inning to end up come back and win.
Well, you always like to see, kind of what your team's made out of if you've been on a good run, and then they come out and score 2 on you in the first inning. How you're going to react? Yeah, that's right. How you're going to react and things like that. And so I didn't see really any panic. But when you have someone like Tyler Sykes on the mound, I don't know that you would expect any different. And so basically he came back in and said, "We're good. They're not scoring again, Coach. Don't worry about it. And let's just start doing our thing." And I mean, he retired 15 in a row after that, and they never really even came close. So it just took us a while they had a good guy on the mound. I mean, he was, hard throwing righty with a good breaking ball. And we got his pitch count up, I think, in the second inning. Yeah. And we're able to scratch one, and then did the same thing the next inning, and then had put up a crooked number and then got ahead. And then you got to give him credit, because he also pitched out of some big situations. I mean, with bases loaded, I think he struck us out on 3-2 breaking ball.
Jeez.
You know what I mean? And I wouldn't have liked to leave as many on base as we did, but you got to give, at some point, you got to give a good pitcher good, credit too. So I was proud of him. And, it was just a typical Tyler Sykes game. Yeah. He gave up 3 hits and struck out 11, didn't walk any. You know what I mean? And we made all the plays, and it was a really good high school baseball game.
And I tell you, too, talking with some of the CSU coaches, they think that he is by far their best recruit that's coming in this year. And they actually think that he's a guy that can contribute in year one as a freshman.
That's awesome.
That goes a credit to you.
Right.
And that's also credit to him and his hard work for someone like CSU. By the way, he's playing in the Peach Belt Conference Championship after winning, putting up 12 runs in the 9th inning yesterday, Coach. Had one extra base hit. The rest of them were singles. I've never heard of that before, but that shows you it's not about who's the best. Right. It's about who gets hot at the right time. And y'all are playing hot too. Let's talk about that second game. The pitcher, Hudson Campbell, did he pitch game 2? Was
yes,
he on the mound?
Yep,
I figured
absolutely.
It was. Yep. Sorry, I was also calling Cleanstone's game while I'm keeping up with it and giving score updates on the Cleanstone's broadcast. But big win for him. Shutout and win 15-0. What did that say about your team?
Well, it's the last, I guess for about 6 weeks he's pitched behind Tyler, and he would probably tell you he didn't have his best stuff. He walked a couple guys in one of the innings, but usually, like when he has an inning like that and gives up a couple hits, he did, and Mason McCrane made 2 of the best throws I've probably seen as a high school coach in the same inning.
Holy smokes.
They tried to tag at second with a ball at the wall and dead center field, and he threw the guy out at third base. But it was probably 3 steps at least. And then the next guy hit a ball off the wall, and he threw him out from the wall at second.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it was – it was kind of there in the middle, like second, third inning, and then after that, like they didn't really sniff him after that, and then we just kind of poured it on offensively. And there's another, I mean, like the lefty they had he's been good all year. He's velo guy, but he got a little erratic. We didn't swing it a lot of balls, made him work really hard, got his pitch count up, and then he started leaving some things up. And Logan Henderson had a big bases clearing double in that game off of him that kind of cracked it open. And,
Right.
And, we scored 6 on him in the first inning, you know what I mean? And that's a good comfort when you're running a guy out there that hadn't lost all year with a 6-run lead, because we were home team second game. So, it's pretty cool.
Well, Coach, big win over St. James, and now you're taking on Prattville Christian. So Prattville Christian took on Lee Scott. That went to a 3-game series, and it went down to the wire. So you actually didn't know who your opponent was till after Friday. Now that you figured out it's PCA, and to be honest, most of us thought we would love that Glenwood Lee Scott, but for majority of the year, number 1 and number 2 all year long in the polls between you and PCA. What do you know about this team and their coach, and how much are you looking forward to playing them?
Well, I mean, they're obviously well coached. I mean, I think they haven't lost but 3 games all year. So they've had a phenomenal year. They have some really good players. They got good arms, some velo guys. They're going to run it up there upper 80s and low 90s. And, they got, 5 or 6 left-handed bats in the lineup that can swing it. And, so we got our work cut out for us. I haven't been it's kind of nostalgic a little bit, went to Prattville Christian last year. They were in the AISA before they left. And that was, I don't even know how many years ago, to be honest.
I think 2012,
14 years ago, I guess, probably on this cycle or whatever. So, it's kind of cool. I haven't been there a long time. They had just built the baseball field, matter of fact. And, they hadn't had it there very long before they left and went to the AHSA. So, super excited about the opportunity to get to play in a state championship. And, but we're going to have to bring it. We're going to have to be ready to play.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. In Montgomery, times are 5:30 and 8 o'clock Eastern time, 4:37 Central time. Coach, talk about the fan base, because it seemed like we had good fan support going up to St. James, and you're expecting the same thing for PCA too.
Right. I mean, and that's the Gator Nation, man. They've always traveled. Everyone that we ever go to, man, I didn't know y'all were going to bring this many people, blah, 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 So it's always something that has been special about this place. And, they love their boys, they love their girls, they love their teams, and it's very rarely that we ever go somewhere where we don't have a caravan coming with us.
Right.
So I wouldn't expect anything different. I got a lot of friends that are actually in the Montgomery area that they're reaching out like, hey man, y'all are playing in Prattville, we're coming. There's tons of alumni that are doing the same thing. Right. So. Be excited. I want them to be excited. They should be excited. It's a great thing for Glenwood.
Yeah, 100%. And we're going to have it on NFHS. Me and Richard will be there on the call. We're going to be in Montgomery earlier to do some AISA state championships, Coach, at Patterson Field. It's 15 minutes right up to Prattville, and we cannot wait. 5:30 is when it's going to be on the NFHS. And I may have a surprise for some people, Coach. I may have the ability, because me and Richard created an account to help out some people if they need it to be able to watch. Because I really want people to tune into this game, Coach.
Right.
And not everybody has subscription. Everybody may have the funds for it.
Right.
But maybe I can help out people that don't have that subscription to still be able to watch the game. Maybe they just use our login or something. I don't know how legal that is, but I want people to be able to watch this game, Coach, because it's a big deal.
Right.
When talking with Tony Rasmus, who is alumni from here, and I'm talking about, I was talking with Carson Bowers, an alumni coach at CSU. This means a lot. You were just talking to a guy that's in Taiwan right now that wants to watch the game. You've gotten a lot of people calling you.
Right.
What does this mean to be one series away from making the state championship first year in the AHSA?
I mean, it's just, the kids deserve it, to be quite honest. It's about them. I mean, they wanted this. They've put the work in to be here. It's just a testament to our program. And what it means to the people who surround the program. And that's why a dynasty never graduates. It has nothing to do with championships. It has to do with the buy-in and what this program means to so many people. And I'm never more proud to be a coach than when these people begin to reach out and talk about how much it means to them. And that's why we get up every day and work our tails off to try to provide not just a product, but an inspiration to people who are around the program. And that's just, what keeps me up at night. And I don't mind staying up at night.
No.
You know what I mean? I can sleep after we're done.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's super exciting, and I just can't wait for the opportunity.
We got a week left in the season. Got to get past Prattville Christian. State championships are next week. How's practice been? Because we talked about this. The games keep being moved up. It was Friday, and then now it got to Thursday last week, and now this week it's Wednesday. So how's the preparation been these last couple of days?
It's been good. I mean, it's I think they've pretty much settled into our routine, and they know exactly what's happening before it's going to happen. And there's certain things, and it's a grass cutting day, and I'm trying to get it done right before practice, and guys are already coming out onto the field and started their mental training, and guys, running, there's pictures before I even ask them to, it's kind of a routine, and we got great senior leadership, and that's proven more and more each round you go through, and as the intensity is ratcheted up, so to speak, I mean, they've seemed to be more focused.
Coach, it was $12 last week. It's the same price this week for everybody that wants to come.
Yep.
So again, $12, Prattville Christian Academy, put it in 5:30 and 8. And then also on the NFHS network, we will have that broadcast for you. Coach, go make us proud. Good luck on Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
And listen, we're going to knock on wood that weather permits, and we're going to play some baseball tomorrow, which we think is going to be fine in the afternoon.
Right,
it's more earlier in the day. So we can't wait to be there. Good luck, Coach. And
thank you, sir.
We'll see y'all next time here on the Glenwood Coach Show on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Georgia, Alabama. Sports Live will be your go-to for all your favorite high school and collegiate games this fall. From the Carver Tigers to the Columbus Blue Devils, the Harris County Tigers and Northside Patriots, the Glenwood Gators and Calvary Christian Knights, the Pacelli Vikings and Brookstone Cougars, to the Smith Station Panthers and Russell County Warriors, from CVCC, Pirates basketball and baseball, and every tournament from here to Macon. We are the #1 destination for anything happening in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and stay tuned for even more amazing ways we will be bringing Georgia Alabama Sports Live to you this upcoming season. We can't wait to come see you next.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Pacelli Coaches Show, presented by the Beck Center. And on the show for the very first time on the Pacelli Coaches Show is the head baseball coach of St. Anne Pacelli, Coach Case Rasmus. How you doing, Coach?
Good, sir. How are you?
I know you've got to be feeling pretty excited. On Monday, huge victory over Lakeside School, and congratulations, you ended up beating your dad. How did that moment feel like?
It was pretty cool. It was fun for sure. Because he referenced the ping pong thing. I remember our very initial interview we had at the beginning of the year. We talked about that. That was a big moment, beating him in ping pong, and that yesterday was pretty close to it again.
Now, you got a big game coming up. We'll talk about that. I know that your dad has got a huge game in the AISA State Championship against Patrician, which we will have that on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Before we get into your coaching background and everything, just talk about your upbringings. Obviously, you were part of you had brothers. You had sisters too, right? Was it all brothers?
3 brothers.
So you had the 3 brothers. It was 4 of you.
Yeah,
Obviously, we know about Colby Rasmus and Corey Rasmus in the majors. And you have another brother too? I can't remember exactly.
Kyle.
Is it Kyle?
Kyle, yes, sir.
Kyle Rasmus. And so what was it like just growing up having a dad who was a coach that, coach, like you guys were in Little League together? I mean, like, just talk about just growing up with 3 brothers and a dad who was a coach.
It was definitely always a lot going on, very competitive growing up. And, my dad always made the joke of, typically if you're like a car mechanic, you teach your kid how to, mess with cars. And he was like, I was a baseball guy. So, I just taught my kids how to do baseball. And we were the typical live, eat, sleep, breathe, baseball, or really sports in general. We played basketball, football, ping pong. Colby and Corey played tennis for a little while, karate. So we dabbled in quite a bit of stuff. And my dad pushed us pretty hard, and definitely Colby and Corey more so, because I was more so hanging out in the shadows a little bit, watching what they had to do. And I was like, yeah, I'll sit here and watch cartoons a little bit. But it was a lot of fun looking back on it. My parents were always there. My brothers we were always together. I feel like as a family. And so it's definitely something I've cherished, is just the time that we spent together with my mom and dad, both being teachers, with summers and vacations and things like that. And so, it was, my brothers were awesome. All three of them, Colby, Corey, Kyle. We were, obviously there was some scuffles here and there, but I always knew no matter what, they had my back in every situation. And it's the same today. And so it was a lot of fun growing up, and it created a lot of competitive drive in all of us, to where we were just constantly outside playing in the yard, whatever, tennis ball, wiffle ball, whatever, ping pong, just competing. And it's definitely something that's, still in us all to this point. Whenever we get together, it's been a lot of fun. And, so it was definitely an incredible upbringing for sure with my mom and dad. And, they taught us a lot of really good things for sure.
Now, what is the age range? Is Colby the oldest?
So right now I'm 35, Kyle's 36, Corey's 37, and Colby's 38.
Okay, so really the age discrepancy between the four of you is like 1 year. So did you guys all go to high school together?
Yeah, so in 2005, whenever we won the national championship.
That's right, Russell County.
Yep, so me and Kyle were freshmen, and Colby was a senior, and Corey was a junior. Kyle was actually a year older, but he got held back a year. That's
awesome that all four of you were on that 2005 state championship, probably considered one of the best teams. It was one of the best teams in the country. Your dad, Coach Rasmus, able to win that state championship, and then Colby Rasmus gets drafted. The following year, Corey Rasmus gets drafted. But let's talk about you, Coach, because you did play a little bit in the minor leagues. But after Russell County, did you play college ball? But what was really your baseball career like after Russell County?
I was definitely more of a late bloomer, and so I actually didn't really, honestly, like baseball a whole lot until I was about in ninth grade. But it was funny, during that 2005 year, a moment that sticks out, we're playing Monroeville in a doubleheader. And I think Colby hit 2 or 3, maybe 4. Corey hit 2 or 3, maybe 4 home runs. Kyle hit a home run, because they all started on varsity, and I was more like a bullpen catcher. And so I remember going up to my dad, like, Dad, they all hit home runs. Like, let me take a shot. I had never hit a home run in my life. He's basically like, nope, go to the bullpen. I'm like, dang, and so that moment, it wasn't like as exactly I deserved to be in the bullpen. I did not deserve to play. I didn't earn it. None of that kind of stuff. My dad was very, very big on you earn what you get. He's not, I don't care if you're my son or not. I'm going to be harder on you. So that's when it kind of clicked for me a little bit. And so I, stepped it up and started training a lot more and practicing a lot more, weightlifting a lot more and stuff after that. So I ended up my senior year, I got one college offer, and it was in Northwest Florida. It was actually Okaloosa Walton at the time with Coach Griffin. And then they changed over the summer to Northwest Florida State College. And I went there for 1 year, played for Coach Doug Martin, who's still there now doing a great job. Then I went to play with Coach Candler at Gulf Coast State College. And then from there, I went to Liberty University. And so when I went to Liberty, after my sophomore, I knew I wanted to play pro baseball. And so Liberty was a great place for me because it was mid-major. And they had about, the last 6 years, they had 7 people drafted, all in the rounds 10 to 30-ish, which is what I knew I was. I wasn't, nothing about me was super impressive, from a tool standpoint. But, I was a good defensive catcher, could run, throw a little bit. And so I looked at Liberty, and it was a great opportunity for me and a great place to play with Coach Tolman, who was fantastic. So I played there for a year. Then I got drafted to the Cardinals in the 36th round after that.
Absolutely. And what classification did you get up to? Did you play high A, low A?
So I played, I made it to double A. And I had a really good year that year. I hit 298 overall.
That's awesome.
I started in low A. I was a backup in low A to start. Then I played really well, got to be the starting catcher. Then I went to be the backup in high A, ended up starting, and then I made it to double A. And I made it to big league spring training the next year in 2014, which was an incredible experience, to say the least.
Awesome. And the Cardinals double A team, we know the triple A team is the Memphis Redbirds,
right?
Which is the double A team again?
Springfield Cardinals, which is an incredible place to play.
Now they are in the Eastern League? Or they because in double A you got the Southern League. Obviously the Cleanstones are in the Southern League. the Texas League. You got like teams like the Arkansas
I
Travelers.
think it was a Texas league. Yep,
It was in the Texas League. Okay,
because we played Texas. We had it was like a 20-hour road trip to Texas.
So
we would play them.
You pretty much know what it's like to play at the AA level, and
Yeah,
really like what the Cleanstones players are going through right now. Just
Yes, sir.
those long road trips on the bus. Did you ever fly anywhere? Were all the trips on the bus?
No, the only time I flew was whenever big league spring training. At the end of it, we flew to Memphis, and so I was on the Memphis roster, the AAA roster. But it was when the St. Louis Cardinals played the Memphis Cardinals at the beginning of the Memphis Redbirds
That's right.
The beginning of the year. But it actually got rained out, and so from there I flew back to High in Palm Beach. So besides that, we typically was road trips everywhere.
And that was at the peak of the Cardinals kind of dynasty. They won a World Series in 2006. They win it in 2011 thanks to David Freese. I mean, so that because you were in the Cardinals organization, did you start becoming a Cardinals fan?
Yeah, and so because growing up, we really wasn't necessarily like with a team, But I remember idolizing players. Like
but your brother also played for the Cardinals for quite a bit
sir.
too, and the Astros.
Yeah, so in 2011 was when I got drafted, and so with not really having a team per se that we cheered for, because we typically cheered for players. My dad loves Mike Smith. Corey loved Ivan Rodriguez, Budge growing up. I like Griffey and a few other folks. So honestly, I kind of adopted the Cardinals as my favorite team since then. So yeah.
All right, Coach. Let's talk about this. Is your first year at Pacelli, as you got a young team. You're in the playoffs, so you're getting ready as the number 10 seed taking on Bullock Academy in Statesboro. But did you feel how necessary was it to go ahead and play your dad in this game that, like, even though the region play is over, you're allowed to just have this game, a tune-up game, to get ready for the postseason. And it's got to really give your team a lot of confidence knowing that you have beaten a team that is getting ready to play in a state championship.
Well, it's been a long season, learning the kids and kind of coming in late, really not getting going until about November due to prior obligations before Coach Thomas stepped down. And so, we were behind the 8 ball a little bit in that regard. And so, our kids have worked their tails off, and I knew we'd been playing better in spurts over the last few weeks. We played Calvary 2 really good games. The third game got away from us. Strong Rock, we played a couple of good games, and also another game got away from us there, I feel like. So honestly, I wanted another opportunity to play, and we had an opening. And I know my dad, he'll play at any time.
Anybody. He'll play 60 games if you'll let him.
Yeah, that's right. And so I figured he'd be open to it. Honestly, they have some incredible arms, Demetrius, Boston, and Carson. I was thinking that it would kind of play out like it did, kind of get a bullpen game for them to get ready for tomorrow, Wednesday. And so it worked out great because we got to see 3 guys, upper 80s, 90, good breaking balls and pitching. And so we kind of caught them on their heels a little bit. And so, like I said, our guys, they beat us twice. And so our guys came out ready to go. And, we have a young team, but we also really don't, because we have 7 seniors.
Yeah.
And so we have Connor Zitzrar, who has absolutely, been a force.
He's been phenomenal at the plate.
He's been really good and got some big hits for us. Austin Dennison on the mound has been spectacular, and here hitting the last couple of weeks, he's been one of our better hitters. And so we've had some seniors step up for sure and pitch, and some other upperclassmen, and Nathan Boatner out of the bullpen has been spectacular, but a lot of really big innings for us. And so, we have a little bit of age with us, but our young kids have done a great job. And so I just wanted to try and really find another good team to play against. I know Bullock is going to be really good, and just try to play, win, lose, or draw. I knew it was going to be a tough game. It was going to be a good atmosphere. And our kids were excited about the opportunity to beat them. And luckily it worked in our favor. And so, that's definitely a really good game. We hit the ball well. We executed bunt, small ball stuff really good. Jacob Velos pitched, and him, the shortstop in this GIA Region 4 is incredible, as well as GIA and in general. And Jacob Velos is right there with all of them. And so he's been great. And as a freshman, MVP, who does that go to? He may be it as a freshman, and he's been fun to watch offensively. He's up to about 350, 360 hitting the ball, and he's hit 6, 7, 8 doubles. So he ain't slapping balls around. He's crushing balls. And so, playing against Dad is definitely it was a big win for us because they got some big arms. And so I know our kids were very excited. and it's good momentum going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and by the way, Jacob Vila started as an 8th grader last year, and that family, is a good baseball family, had a chance to live stream some of his older brother's games, Justin Vilos, who plays at CVCC, and so there's a bright future for Jacob Vilos. And like you mentioned, Coach, you did have a young team. I think that getting off to that slow start in region play, did you kind of learn something about your team? And I actually thought that you played a lot better in that Calvary series. Calvary started playing really good toward the end of the season. Do you feel like your team has got that confidence because you played Calvary tough and you're not the same team in the beginning of the year, and you're getting great right at the right time when it comes to playoff time?
I think so. We've played a really tough schedule. Like I said, the region it's been tough.
It's brutal, especially Strong Rock.
Yeah.
They had a losing record, and then Calvary has to play Strong Rock in the first round. And then obviously Brookstone, they're Brookstone. They're the defending GIAA champions. And then Westfield School, another team that's going to probably go deep in the 3A playoffs.
Yeah, so the region was definitely very tough, and it was definitely a good tune-up, if you will, for getting us ready for a good playoff run. And we definitely, like I said, have played better baseball to come along. We've learned how to kind of a pecking order, if you will,
right.
And so coming into the year, we didn't really know, because obviously Ben Green, is a guy, and he's an incredible hitter. Him getting hurt last October, November-ish, everybody was kind of looking around like, who's going to replace him? And so I think we learned nobody's going to replace him, because you can't replace a guy like Ben Green.
Absolutely.
But, in his absence, we have had guys over time, step up, whether it be Zitrar, Velos, Cam Carino, Austin Dannison. And so I think we're really kind of figuring out where, just trying to find ways to win. How are we going to win? And sometimes also I tell guys, it ain't always going to be the most pretty thing in the world, because we have a bunch of young guys who make a bunch of young guy mistakes. And like you said about Velos, I think Velos had more at-bats than anybody else on our team this year on a varsity level. Now, Zitrar would have played every game last year pretty much, but he broke his handmade ball on opening day. But so we're, very inexperienced on a varsity baseball level. And so it's just taking a little bit of time just to kind of get the confidence of, hey, like, you guys are varsity players. And whether you're good enough or not, you are, because, you've earned it. We've worked our tails off. I think the kids, finally are getting to a point where they're believing in themselves better right now than they did at the beginning of the year, for sure.
All right, Coach, your first round matchup against Bullock Academy. It's a best-of-3 series. Now, I know you don't want to look past Bullock Academy, but if you're able to defeat Bullock Academy, Brookstone is waiting as the number 2 seed. But have you had a chance to scout Bullock Academy and what type of team you're going up against?
A little bit, but that's what I tell our guys. I mean, I think, and I'm always been a firm believer of, let's just focus on what we can do. If we do what we're capable of doing, regardless of what they do, that gives us our best chance. And so trying to really look a whole lot into, who we play or whatnot. And, I think we have a good chance. We have a good team. We have a much better team than, our record now is 14-16. I feel like we have a much better team than 14-16.
Mm-hmm.
But, at the end of the day, it comes down to winning those games. And so I feel good about it. If we play like we have the past couple of weeks, and maybe a little bit cleaner at times, and make sure we finish, then I feel good about our chances to, I ain't gonna, people say I try not to look past. I thought about playing at Brookstone. I'm excited about it because, they swept us, and the Brendan Neal kid was spectacular on the mound, and he was fun to watch.
Chanu Kim.
Yeah, he was spectacular on the mound. He threw the ball really well. They got a great lineup. They had the Jones kid, who may be the best hitter in the GIA, hitting 7-hole. I think he's in like 500. So they were fun. So yeah, I try not to think about that a whole lot, but I'm hoping that we do what we're supposed to this weekend, and they're going to be a good team. It's going to be tough, but our guys are ready. I mean, we've done everything we can, and now that's what I tell them, though. Nobody, the grand scheme of things, Bullock don't care, because they're doing the same stuff. They're getting ready, and we just got to be confident and do what we're supposed to do, and what will happen is supposed to happen.
Well, Coach, we hope that you're able to get the victory over Bullock, because we're going to be there. If it is you and Brookstone, that we'll get another Pacelli game in on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. It really has been a fun season. I really got to give a shout out to Dave Plata. He has been the voice of Pacelli baseball, and the broadcasts have been exciting. I call some Pacelli games on the road, because we call Calvary and Brookstone as well. But Coach, my final question to you: a place like Pacelli, we're live here at the Beck Center. Obviously, we had to bring out the baseball model here, as you can see the uniforms. And just being at a place like here, you have an indoor hitting facility. What does a place like Pacelli mean, especially, being a first-year coach? And what does this place mean, and why is Pacelli such a special place to be?
It's definitely second to none when it comes to, say, facilities. Like I said, the indoor here is incredible. It's massive, and we have the weight room. The field is top notch. The support system here, the staff, the admin, our athletic directors are incredible. Our personal trainer, Mackenzie, she does a great job. And so everything about this place here is designed for these kids to be successful. If they're not successful, in all reality, it's just they just haven't done what they're supposed to, because the school system has done everything it can to give these kids every opportunity to chase their dreams, whatever their dreams, whether it is just to have a good high school career, college, pro ball, whatever it is. And so it's definitely it's been fun. Like I said, it's been an incredible year. Some ups and downs, but it's been a good learning experience. And I'm definitely grateful for the opportunity to be a part of the Viking staff. I definitely look forward to the future for sure.
Well, Coach, good luck against Bullock Academy this Friday. It'll be a doubleheader, and then a game 3, if necessary, on Saturday. It's going to be in Statesboro, and wish you nothing but the best of luck as Pacelli in the postseason for the GIAA playoffs. Thank you so much for watching the Pacelli Coaches Show presented by the Beck Center. And I'm Richard Holder signing off. We will see you next time. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great rest of your night.